Hi, Kristen.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, good. We are on the go today, so I figured I'd come live from the car.
I love it. I mean, everyone's busy. I feel like that's super relatable.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to get on here live with you today to bring a really awesome resource to my followers, a pediatrician, a board certified pediatrician, to kind of speak on your experience working with parents and sleep with their little ones, and then how you feel about sleep training because it can be sort of a hot button issue. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to introduce you officially and read your super impressive bio, and then I will sort of let you take the floor and kind of share what is on your heart about sleep training.
Oh, sure. Sounds good.
Okay, so we have Dr. Kristen Weidert here. She's a board certified pediatrician, mom of two girls, and co founder of Sage Mother Co. Alongside her best friend from medical school, she launched Sage Mother Co. to address the lack of support she noticed for women in early stages of motherhood. Kristen is dedicated to helping women navigate the transformative journey of becoming mothers by providing education, resources, and most importantly, a supportive community through her work with Sage Mother Co. Welcome, Kristen.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be talking about this. This is the bane of so many parents I care for's existence. I would say when kids come in for their well checks during those infant years, more often than not, parents ask me about sleep. Is this
Yeah.
normal? They're struggling. The toddlers, what can I do?
Yes.
What's going wrong? Why are they doing this? Those are all so many things that happen in so many of the appointments that I have. So I talk about it so much. My role as a pediatrician is I need to make sure there's no medical reason why it's happening. So ruling out, making sure that they're getting well fed during the day, making sure that they're getting plenty of exercise, going through their schedule, making sure that they're not in pain, like ruling all of these out. As a pediatrician, once I've ruled all those out, it's kind of more of an art how long you can spend with a patient. We typically have 15, maybe 30 minutes for a regular checkup to talk about all the different things that you need for your child to be healthy. And so sleep is such a small thing
Yeah.
in all of that. And so to be able to devote the time to go through all the different recommendations, what can we do, your personal, like what exactly is going to work for your family, it's not realistic to do in a regular checkup with your provider. Yeah, you can schedule a checkup with your provider to talk about sleep specifically, but in reality, medical school doesn't teach you about the best way to sleep train or different things like that. We are taught how many hours a child should sleep. We are
Yeah.
taught good sleep hygiene, the basics of what is a good bedtime routine. And you get a very small amount of time in those trainings.
Yeah.
Whereas a specialist that can devote so much more time and personalize one-on-one information and consultation like you has had so much more education in the reality of it. The One of the biggest things that I get as parents of older infants is it healthy to sleep train? Is it okay for my child to cry? And so
Yeah.
from my perspective on that, the American Academy of Pediatrics, so that's the governing body that gives a lot of the standard recommendations for pediatricians to follow rather than going out and trying to find every little piece of evidence-based medicine. They kind of group it all together and give these guidelines based on the most common studies and evidence and things that are beneficial and helpful, actually does recommend sleep training. And so it's very similar to what you have told me. It's kind of before 4 months, it's unrealistic to sleep train. Your baby doesn't have much of a circadian, they don't have any really circadian rhythm at that point. The self-soothing mechanisms aren't in place. And so there is a time and a place if you're comfortable. My number one thing is making sure you're comfortable. Okay. And comfort is, there's a difference between discomfort and I can't stand it. And so there is studies that have shown it's really important and healthy for infants to learn some degree of self-soothing. It's really a good trait to have for the rest of your life. It's really important to cope and soothe and be able to calm yourself down. And so that is something that the American Academy of Pediatrics has taken a stance to agree with. If you are a parent who's comfortable with sleep training, they recommend it. And that
Yeah.
it's yeah, exactly. One of the quotes that I read from directly from the American Academy of Pediatrics, they say it is normal for a 6-month-old to wake up during the night and then go back to sleep after a few minutes. Of course, attend to them, like feeding, changing dirty diaper, or comforting them if needed. But like knowing that they may wake up and after a couple of seconds they don't need picked up right away, and those are different
Right.
things that I've heard you say. Exactly. And so
Yeah.
you're very in line with that, and it from a pediatrician's stance it is appropriate if you're comfortable with it. The consistency is key though. Like once you do it, you got to make a commitment, otherwise it's not going to work, you know. And
Yep.
yeah, and there's a very big difference between self-soothing and cry it out. Self-soothing is a really important trait. It's not necessarily just let them fend for themselves for 9 hours. They're not going to cry for 9 hours. You know, that's the
Never.
biggest distinction. Yeah,
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
as a parent, a mom, and a pediatrician, when a mom asks me, "How could you ever do that?" And I actually sleep trained both of my girls, one more so than the other, and that one has better sleep. But I've had parents ask me like, "How can you listen to them cry?" And it's varying degrees. You know, you figure it
Right.
out, and you have to learn how to implement self-soothing stuff. And so that's totally in the realm of safety in the pediatric world.
That's really good to know. I have a lot of, people come to me that, and of course the internet is such a wild west of there's so many opinions out there. And unfortunately I see a lot of shaming, and that kind of
Mhm.
leads to, in my experience, where parents are putting so much pressure on themselves that they're burning themselves
Mhm.
out. And that's not healthy
Mhm.
either. So I think the solution in my book for that is just to find people who are actually trained, this is their career, medical doctor, somebody that has the training and knows what's actually, scientifically backed and safe. And then you start there. And then you
Mhm.
kind of, talk about wellness as a whole. So, for you and your child, sleep is a huge part of it, but your mental health and all those other things are also equally as important. So I think
Yeah.
that's really valuable to hear coming from a pediatrician who, every parent has a relationship with in some way or another.
Mhm. And I think the one important thing from Sage Mother Co., our company, we really love supporting mothers in how they want to parent, parents and how they want to parent. If you thought you were going to co-sleep, you have a toddler, and you thought you were going to love having them in your bed and the snuggles, and just no one is healthy, no one's getting good sleep, or the opposite, like
Yeah.
it's really supporting you in what you need. And so if that's what you want, then you should get full support in it and get someone who is educated and can really hold you accountable and really counsel you and give you the time and the education that you need to make whatever is going to work for your family work.
Right. Yeah, I just offboarded a client today, and we had a great time working together. And within 3 days, their one year old was sleeping way better than she had been. And the mom said to me, "It's so crazy. Like it was just some minor tweaks that for some reason we weren't able to see ourselves that you had us do, and that made all the difference." Like she was absolutely shocked
Yeah.
that and I was, I just told her like that means I'm doing my job correctly, and that's why sleep consultants exist, is like, that there's that somebody there that kind of use their expertise and really take a close look at your situation and then give you
Mhm.
some suggestions from a bird's eye view.
Right.
So
You're always
yeah.
going to have this, yeah, you're always going to have this bias or these rose colored glasses when it's your own
Yeah.
kid. Even in medicine, like in pediatrics, I'll second guess my own child. Like, wait, is this right? And I'll text one of my friends, like,
Yeah,
they're
I'm
just running this by
sure.
you. Like, should I be concerned? Like, am I using my pediatrician eyes or my mom eyes? And so
Yeah.
having those external eyes have a look is so beneficial.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, awesome. And I kind of, we've sort of have touched on this, and I do want you to kind of talk a little bit more about your company beyond being a pediatrician, Sage Mother Co. But also, we've met because our missions are so aligned in kind of trying to up level
Hmm.
the postpartum care in the US.
Yeah.
There's really a unfortunate lack of resources, and I think it's really important for providers like us to build a network that we can refer out to. So just sort of like, your thoughts on leveling up postpartum care in the US. What does that mean to you as a pediatrician? And then if you want to kind of roll into how you're doing that with Sage, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So many things in life require a team. If you think about a business, they have someone who takes care of marketing. They have someone who does finances. They have a specialist who does X, Y, and Z. If you think about like a child who has a developmental delay, you know who we get on board? We get on speech. We get make sure they're hearing. We get audiology. We make sure they're hearing. We get physical therapists. We get these whole teams of people to support you through something that you're going through. Why doesn't that happen in the biggest event in like all of humanity, going through
Yep.
labor and delivering a baby, and your life is just rocked? I don't know why that isn't an automatic thing that happens. Like, you have
Mhm.
your one provider, and then you only get the extra people if you ask for them, if you seek them out.
Yeah.
And so information, I think, is the biggest thing. Letting people know they're out there. Like, you can build this wonderful team of support and resources. You don't need all the 100 outfits that you'd put on your registry, pare that down a little bit, put some of these support people on your registry, because that helps with the affordability. You think about the resources that European countries, one of my best friends is from Norway, and
Right.
she was telling me about just the automatic implementation of support that they have in the first year. They have kind of like a postpartum doula that we would have here that would see you for the first 6 weeks. They have that for months on end, like 12 to 18 months, and they are automatically put in this community of new moms who are in the same place as them. And it's just this beautiful thing that
Yeah.
here we are for sure lacking. Hmm.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's, I also co-founded an expo, which you were a
Yeah.
part of for this exact reason, bringing all these resources together and sort of up leveling our current idea of the baby expo. And my co-founder, Jackie, had her first son in the Netherlands and the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
She said, we were shocked. We came home and this woman came over basically like a postpartum doula and that was just standard. It was just the standard of care, which is
Mm-hmm.
just mind blowing for someone that lives here. So I feel that it's really important. The work that we're doing is sort of our government isn't at that point yet, so we're doing what we can to sort of add that to the culture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. And so Stage, would you mind just speaking a little bit about specifically what you're doing with that? Because it's really awesome.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah,
Yeah, Sage is a very big passion project for my co-founder and I. We both went through motherhood during our medical training, medical residencies. She had in her first year of family med residency. I had my first year and a half into my pediatric residency. And this has been kind of her baby in going through this whole identity shift and how to navigate like your change in opinion on what you want to do with your career and this whole mindset shift. But luckily, like, we were able to address that. It's kind of like who we are because we had that medical knowledge, and we felt this gap in there's so much support out there that needs to be brought to people. Our goal is just supporting people, educating people, giving our medical education to people's fingertips so that that's one less thing to worry about. Like, we want to teach you all the basics in baby care so that you don't have to worry about that. You can focus on the good stuff, the
yeah,
learning your identity,
yeah.
spending time with your
The
baby, and really,
snuggles.
yeah, the snuggles. And
Yes,
then, yeah, so that's kind of our main vision goal. We
yes.
do have a podcast that we've had you on. And so that comes out weekly on Mondays, the Sage Mother podcast. We love that. That's one of our free resources. And then we have several different resources that we want to get out to mamas. We have some baby guides, some other guides that are educational. They're all accessible online, and you can hyperlink to things, you can search things, find them. So at 2 a.m. when something's going on with your baby, we're not Googling.
Yes.
We're finding a
Yes.
trusted answer. And then
Amazing.
our most favorite resource that we have is our community. And one of the big things that we're missing in this early motherhood journey right now is support and people around us. And we want to bring you to other new moms. We want to have that community sense, that village around you. And then we also want to bring those resources into that community. So we have experts in the community, we have master classes in the community on different things that can come up. And then we also have like a resource guide that you can find all those things, connect you to the resources that you need to thrive.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah, and it was really cool for me to be able to learn about that and then be a part of it. And it's so awesome to be able to jump in and answer a question that a mom has. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's brilliant. And yeah, I'll definitely put some more information in the comments below. And then, if you're interested, you can look to join that because correct me if I'm wrong, but it really doesn't matter where you are, right? Like you can
Right.
just be a part of that.
We focus on really the early motherhood. So right now our focus is the first 2 years, just because it's so the matrescence, like it's such a huge change in your life, and there's so many ongoing developmental changes in kids. Like everything is just changing so much. We're really focusing on that very dynamic time in life.
Yes.
Hopefully,
Okay.
we have plans maybe to expand that, but that's
Sure.
where a lot of our energy, resources, education is focused right now. But a mom in any stage can join our
Yeah.
community. A lot of our resources are targeted to those first couple years of motherhood.
Great. And any stage and then also any location, right?
Oh
Like
yeah,
this is an online
anywhere.
research.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
virtual, and so anywhere across the world you can be a part of our Sage Circle community.
Yay. Well, awesome. Well, that was really all I wanted. I wanted just to be able to connect and then just
Hmm.
show people out there, new families, new parents, that pediatricians and sleep consultants work together and we're
Yes.
trying to form a team to help support you with one of the most important things in your life and your new life as a parent, which is sleep. So, it's something that is to be addressed, to try not to fall into the many opinions out there and of, which is right and which is wrong. If you're struggling with sleep, I really encourage people to check in with your pediatrician and see if they have anyone that they can refer you to beyond if it's beyond a medical biological something that's going on.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You are
Yeah.
a wonderful resource. We need our mamas to get sleep so that we are well, and that means kids getting sleep too.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kristen. I'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your day. I know you're busy, but it was super awesome to have you on and a great resource.
Yeah, you too. Great to see you. Have a good rest of your
You
day.
too. You too. Goodbye.